What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you're excited for the final Dallas Cowboys game this season before the bye. Dallas 4-1, as you know, one more before the break, and it's a big one. I know they're not exactly who we've known them to be for a very long time, but on Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys visiting the New England Patriots. Cowboys-Patriots games have not necessarily been big time or been dramatic or had a whole lot of razzle-dazzle. There's the 2007 matchup that we all remember very well. But taking on the Patriots is, in theory, a very big thing, an important box for the Cowboys to check off. Certainly getting a win there would be an important box for them to check off. The Cowboys haven't defeated the Patriots since 1996, which, of course, means they have never defeated the team under Bill Belichick. They will have an opportunity to do so this Sunday out in Foxborough Stadium. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is our preview show here on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. Please make sure you do subscribe. We're going to talk to somebody who knows the Patriots well, my very good friend Bernd Buckmaster, who covers the Patriots for Pat's Pulpit, SB Nation's home for New England Patriots content. We're also going to dive into the film room with Matt Minnick, who does a great job educating us on some specific things that we always have to pay attention to in each and every Cowboys game. But before we get there, we have some keys to the game that we want to talk about, things that we think the Cowboys have to focus on if they do want to get their fifth win in a row this season. And the first, look, it's the Patriots, it's Foxborough, and it is Bill Belichick. I know that this team isn't what we all have come to know the Patriots to be since the turn of the century, but this is an elite head coach. In fact, this is the most elite head coach. This is the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. And I realize, again, and I'm saying it for the third time now because it is important, that it's not Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. It is just Bill Belichick. And since Tom Brady has been down in Tampa Bay, we have not exactly seen a super elite version of Bill Belichick. But we cannot look past that. This is arguably the greatest defensive mastermind in the NFL, in the history of the NFL, rather. And while the Cowboys do have one of the best and most efficient offenses in the game at the current moment, if there's anyone who can slow it down, it is Bill Belichick. He did slow down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense a couple of weeks ago when they hosted Tom Brady in his return on Sunday Night Football. And we know that Kellen Moore is somebody who, as he likes to put it, aggressively attacks what defenses give them. But Bill Belichick's not going to give you a lot. And so the Cowboys have to be smart about this. The Cowboys have to really follow that advice from Kellen Moore to a true and absolute T. They have to take what Bill Belichick gives them because he is somebody who, frankly, is smarter than them, somebody who has seen more than they have. And so the Cowboys have to be very disciplined when it comes to taking on this specific defensive coach because there are a lot of people that can tell you exactly how good he is at his job. Now, the second thing the Cowboys have to take care of is Mac Jones. Look, he's been really good. I think, I'm curious who you think is the best rookie quarterback so far in the NFL this season. Obviously, we've seen the first rounders all get their crack at it. And obviously, Davis Mills has gotten his opportunity in Houston. Incidentally, the Texans played the Patriots last week. But I think you could very fairly say that Mac Jones has been the best rookie quarterback, best rookie first-round quarterback so far this season. I get that the season is really young. We'll see what Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson turn into. They went to situations that were a little bit more volatile, situations that weren't as stable as New England. Granted, New England is obviously in a different place than they've been in years past. But Mac Jones, while he has been rather poised so far into his young career, is still a rookie and still somebody who is capable of making mistakes. There's a really age-old philosophy that rookie quarterbacks turn the ball over more. We see that generally year to year to year. And Mac Jones has, in fact, been more stable in that he's not necessarily forcing things that early players do at the position, to this point in his career. However, that's something that we need to see the Cowboys take advantage of. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say this isn't a bold prediction, but I think that Trayvon Diggs' interception streak comes to an end in this game because what separates Mac Jones from your average rookie quarterback is I don't think that he is silly enough to test Trayvon Diggs. And that's where I think that Mac Jones is impressive. He understands what opportunities are worth taking, what risks are worth taking, and the Cowboys have to get enough pressure on him to force him to try to make those risks. I think if the Cowboys offense is able to build up enough of a lead, obviously you put Mac in a situation where he has to take more risks because they need more points, but that is an essential part of this game for the Cowboys, is getting to Mac Jones in a number of different ways and making sure that he's going to play mistake-full football, not mistake-free football, because the more mistakes he makes, the easier life is for the Cowboys in an overall perspective. My final key, look, this is the Cowboys, it's the Patriots, but we've seen before, even though the Patriots aren't exactly, who we've known them to be. I know I keep saying that, but we've seen them compete. And the Cowboys have been a team so far this season over the last couple of weeks that has been a little bit slow moving early on in games. I think the first quarter last week against the New York Giants was one of the the lower quality first quarters that Dak Prescott has played in some time. At halftime against the Carolina Panthers, the Cowboys were actually losing. And, in both of these games over the last 2 weeks, Dallas has come out strong in the third quarter. They've really poured it on and really put a big distance between themselves and their opponent. And maybe they can do that again against New England. But something that I think we would all like to see is that same sort of disposition, that same sort of aggression, that same sort of momentum start from the very beginning. We don't want to see any of these slow starts. And granted, the Patriots don't exactly have the horses to run with the Cowboys, but someday somebody might. And so the Cowboys, it would behoove them to get out to a fast start, score early, score often, and make the rest of the game feel the way that the fourth quarters of the last couple of games have felt. But, those are my keys. I'm certainly curious what you have to say. If you want to let me know, you can in the comments below. You can always hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa to talk all things Cowboys, to talk all things whatever. Hey, let's talk about whatever you want. But right now we are going to talk about the New England Patriots, again, with somebody who knows them very well. Bernd Buckmaster covers the New England Patriots for Pat's Pulpit, SB Nation's New England Patriots site. And Bernd, well, he spoke with us about what he expects to happen on Sunday afternoon in Foxborough. Pleased to be joined by the one, the only, the legendary, I say this often, but truly the internationally famous, from Pat's Pulpit, SB Nation's home for New England Patriots content, my great friend, one of the very few people who I've actually worked with in person across the SB Nation universe. It is the legendary Bernd Buckmaster, who told me to pronounce it a different way last time we worked together. Bernd, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. You have earned the honor of pronouncing my name correctly. Not everybody can say that. No, honestly, it's a pleasure to be on. I wish the Patriots would play the Cowboys more often so we could do this more often. But, there's always the hope of them meeting in the Super Bowl one day. And us being there and spending a marvelous week together, as we did in Atlanta a few years ago, which ended with the Patriots Super Bowl victory. So, in a sense, I could say that whenever I met you in person, the Patriots won a Super Bowl. So
that's true.
We should meet more often.
That's true. Very true. I am your good luck charm. That was not a great season for the Cowboys. Actually, that was a great season. That was 2018. That was actually, so the Dallas Cowboys in our current moment have won 4 games in a row, which is their longest streak since that 2018 season when they won 5 in a row. If the Cowboys are successful at defeating the New England Patriots on Sunday, it would match that streak from 2018. So we'll see if they're able to do that. I'm obviously confident that they will, but you're here to tell us why they either will or won't. Your thoughts, Bernd, on who the Patriots are, because I think I know you deal with this a lot. Everybody wants to parachute in and have a take about the Patriots and what life is like post Tom Brady, certainly after last season and the Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. Mac Jones, Bill Belichick, on and on and on. Give us the state of the Patriots entering week 6.
I think Bill Belichick said it best himself. He said that the theme of the year for the Patriots, in a way, is inconsistency. Mm-hmm. And that's what has to be expected starting a rookie quarterback. I think almost none of us expected Mac Jones to get the start, especially with Cam Newton getting released. That was a bit of a surprise. So, you expect growing pains from a rookie quarterback, even though he has a good team around him, a better team than Cam Newton had last year. Mm-hmm. But, he's learning the job on the fly, and the job is an incredibly difficult one because, A, the quarterback position is the most difficult in the NFL, except maybe long snapper. I don't know. I've never played any
right,
position.
That's a good point. Yeah, physically taxing, right, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at those muscular man. I don't know where I'm going with that. But anyway, and B, he's playing in a system that is challenging for players. We've seen a lot of people come in, experienced players who have had success in the league. I'm thinking Joey Galloway. I'm thinking Chad Ochoa, Johnson, and they didn't grasp the scheme. They didn't develop the right chemistry with Tom Brady back in the days to be successful. And now you ask Mac Jones to play a Brady-like role. I'm not saying to play the Brady role because Let's be honest, it's Tom Brady, and he will be around long after we're both dead. So, but the thing is, you expect growing pains, and you're getting growing pains. But I also think you're getting a team that is getting better, week after week, just because Mac Jones is seeing more things, he's getting more experience, he's getting more practice and playing time with those players. And I'm not certain they will be able to beat the Cowboys this year, just because the Cowboys are a very, very good team, and the Patriots are not there yet. But I would say they are better now than they were 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, at the start of the season. So everything is possible, but yeah, that's the thing. Everything is possible, but you don't know, and I don't know, and nobody knows which Patriots team we will get. Yeah, that's my take on the Patriots. It's kind of like, we will have to see, because that's basically what it is.
It's a strange place, I think. I know there's a lot of football fans who aren't losing sleep because the Patriots are below 500 or struggling compared to recent years. Nobody is crying for the Patriots in that sense, but it is disconcerting. It is abnormal. So you kind of you expect like this game. Cowboys are going to New England. You expect it to kind of feel big and feel of large levels of magnitude. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson are on the call, so you expect like the big thing, but it's hard to view it as a big game because the Patriots have been such low quality. I agree with you, and I think most people would, that Mac is certainly progressing and is getting better week to week. I think everyone's kind of base value or base image of him is the Sunday night game against Tampa when he was, fantastic. Certainly marvelous given the expectation and the moment that was against Tom Brady. But you mentioned it, that you think this will be difficult for the Patriots against the Cowboys. Where do you feel like the Patriots are overmatched? What is the area that the Cowboys can have a lot of success against the Patriots? Because I mean, we were talking right before we started recording, the Cowboys haven't had any success against the Patriots. They've never beaten Bill Belichick's Patriots. I mean, and there would be, I think, a level of satisfaction. Like it would feel somewhat real, but it would also feel inauthentic to go beat this version of Bill Belichick's Patriots, so to speak.
I get what you're saying. I think there's a lot. I feel like no Patriots Cowboys game in the past has really had much hype, except the 2007 matchup.
Totally
because
agreed.
That was two teams at the peak of their powers going at each other, and it was a good game. Even though, I mean, from your perspective, the Cowboys did lose, but they hung with the 16-0 Patriots, who were at the time, like, they were the peak 16-0 Patriots. There wasn't like the 18-1 team.
That game had, I mean, it had Tom Brady, but it had Randy Moss. It was the first Randy Moss, Wes Welker, T.O. And before the game, T.O. had the placard in front of his locker, the original 81 stuff. Like, it had a lot of juice. I mean, to your point. But you're right. 2011 was, the Cowboys played them close in Foxborough, but it was so. 2015, Tony Romo didn't even play because he was hurt. So it was Brandon Weeden. And then 2019, I was actually at that game, and it was the monsoon, just rain. It was a close game, I guess. It didn't really feel that way, but it was a tough game, and those aren't really exciting or sexy. And this certainly doesn't seem like it's going to be either, unfortunately, for your sake.
Yeah, but going back to your point about where I see the Patriots possibly having some issues against the Cowboys, I wouldn't have said it pre-week 5, but I think coverage is one area where I can see the Patriots having some breakdowns. I mean, Davis Mills looked good against them. and he had 13 passing yards the week before or something. It felt like that. And now you're going against Dak Prescott. And now you're going against Zeke. And now you're going against CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and an O-line that is really, really, really good. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster for the Patriots. Potentially. That's always the thing I have to say, because the Patriots were missing Jalen Mills last week, who's a starting cornerback for them now with Stephon Gilmore in Carolina. They're also, the Patriots are a weird team in a way, because you never know what you're going to get, not just because of Mac Jones and of the team's inconsistency in general, but also because the game plan for each individual opponent, not every team does that. And we could see them beating the Houston Texans 25-22 1 week, them playing close against the Buccaneers another week, and then we can see them really compete well against the Cowboys on Sunday. It's not impossible. Do I anticipate it? No, not really, because I do think that the Cowboys are a better overall team, and the Patriots will have some trouble stopping all the offensive weapons, both on the ground and through the air. But it's really hard to project a Belichick coach team on a week-to-week basis. But when it comes to talent, yes, sure, I think the Cowboys are better, and I think they should win. But coaching plays a big part, and I'm not saying anything about Mike McCarthy here or about his coaching staff, because he has a pretty good coaching staff. I mean, every coaching staff looks good when Jason Garrett is out of town, I guess. But it's still Bill Belichick. He's still pretty good at what he does, even though the results do not show it yet.
Right. And I think that that's every Cowboys fan's biggest concern. You mentioned, I did want to say coverage. When the schedule first came out, and this is the 17th game, by the way, for Dallas and New England, in case anybody didn't know, this is the extra regular season game. Each NFC East team is playing the AFC East team that they finished in the same place as last year. Dallas was third, so that's where this matchup comes from. But the moments you mentioned Stephon Gilmore being a Carolina Panther now, but the moment he was placed on the PUP list at the beginning of the season, there was a huge sigh of relief from every Cowboys fan, because if he hadn't been traded, that would have kept him out it still is keeping him out 6 weeks, but this is week 6. And so it guaranteed that he would not play for the Patriots against the Cowboys. And he was a big reason why Dallas lost that game in 2019. And so it does seem like they can be had there. On the flip side of this discussion, I think where the Cowboys might be undermatched or New England might be overmatched. I mean, any team is undermatched when it comes to going against Bill Belichick. And I don't care, what the current state of affairs is. I don't care what New England's record is. I don't care, where they rank in DVOA or anything like that. It's still Bill Belichick. And I think something we've been talking about a lot, Bernd, is the Cowboys are doing a lot of things that they should do this season. The Monday night game against Philadelphia, we knew that the Eagles weren't a good team. But, so beating them in general, I don't think would have satisfied people enough. But, beating them the way they did, doing it soundly, taking care of a bad team makes you feel like, okay, this team might be legitimate. When they beat the Panthers, the Carolina was a little bit of a paper tiger. And so it's okay, go expose them. And they did that. They beat the Giants last week. And New York, unfortunately, had a lot of injuries. And so it's take advantage of them. And they did. And so this is kind of along those lines. This isn't a great team in terms of conventional measurement, but they do carry that sort of wild card. Do you think that's where, if we're sitting here Sunday night and New England has won and Dallas is now on their bye and everyone thinks the world is falling because the 4-2 Cowboys lost to the Patriots, do you think it will have been because Bill Belichick found a way to outcoach Mike McCarthy or Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, whoever it may be?
In a way, yes, but I also think it would have a lot to do with the Patriots playing up to their abilities. Mm-hmm. If we're looking at a lot of those games, they lost against Tampa Bay because they missed the last-second field goal. Granted, it was a 56-yarder in Foxborough, which is bad conditions all around, but they could have won. They lost week 1 against the Dolphins team that is now 1-4. They lost that game because Damian Harris, their lead running back, fumbled inside the 5-yard line in the final seconds of the game. They could have won that one. Now, ifs and buts, candy nuts, Christmas is coming up. I don't know.
I've never understood that phrase, by the way. I don't know where it's from or what movie it's from or anything. I have no idea.
I don't know. But, you are what your record says you are. And the Patriots are 2-3. And they are 2-3 for a reason, because they haven't played a full 60 minutes yet. Now, I do believe Bill Belichick will put him in a position to be successful against the Cowboys, but they have to execute. And they haven't been able to execute yet. And if they cannot do that, they will lose on Sunday. If they can do that, and yes, coaching plays a big role in that, but Belichick himself said it a few years back, players win and coaches lose. And if the players don't win, coaching won't make up for it. The Patriots have to perform better and more consistent than they have in the past. That's what, in my opinion, will make the difference for win or loss for the Patriots.
I have 2 final ones for you, Bernd. I'm not going to ask you for your prediction because that's lame. I don't want to be boring. I want to be a little bit more unique. What would make you feel happy at the end of this game, and that's whether if the Patriots win, fine, but even if they lose, there is some solace you can take in a loss. When you lay that beautiful head of hair down, at night on Sunday evening, Monday morning for you, what will be necessary for you to say, you know what, it was a successful day?
I mean, there's a baseline. Nobody getting injured. That's baseline. Building off of that, I would say, if the Patriots play consistent football, if they don't make those stupid mistakes that they've made, be it fumbles, be it turnovers, be it interceptions, be it coverage breakdowns, weird tackling angles from Devin McCourty that you've never seen before, stuff like that. If they eliminate those errors, those mental breakdowns, and they lose by a field goal, it's going to suck because they will be 2-4, but it would tell me they hung with a very good Cowboys team. So obviously you want to win. Obviously you want to win in blowout fashion. Will it happen? No, probably not. But I do think that if the Patriots play the Cowboys tough, if they play them similarly to how they played the Buccaneers, Patriots fans can feel good about themselves. And I know I, covering the team, will feel good about myself. The royal we.
Right.
I think I would feel good about the team if it played a competent game of football. That's important. Winning, losing, yeah, we'll have to see. But Gerard Mayo, Patriots assistant coach, said the other day that the goal is not to necessarily to play good football in September or October. It's always November, December, January. And if they play a good game on Sunday, it might be a step in the right direction towards playing good football in November, December, and January. So that's what I can feel good about if Patriots will win or lose or whatever.
That's fair. I think that's really fair and really rational, really calm and reasoned. Everything I know you to be, Bernd. I also know you to be an objective person, somebody who thinks about things in a sound way. And so the Cowboys and Patriots don't meet all too often. Obviously, they've met sooner than we anticipated in 2019. So what are your thoughts on the Cowboys? Just as somebody who's watched them from afar for 5 weeks now and getting ready for them, do you think this is a team that can legitimately challenge? Something else we've been discussing this week as the Cowboys get ready for their bye week and a break is, how our expectations have changed for this season, given who they've been over the first 5 weeks. So what do you view as the ceiling for this particular team?
I think the ceiling is pretty tough. I can't see them win the Super Bowl because they do have a lot of talent. But I also think that their defense is a bit more vulnerable as people might think it is based on the turnovers.
Very much agreed.
Because I looked at the numbers earlier today, and they lead the league in yards after the catch given up. They are in the top 5 or 6, I think, in missed tackles. They are first in defensive penalties. So all those together may not necessarily constitute a bad defense. The Cowboys have a very good defense, I think. But the margin for error is slimmer than it might look like because the turnover is playing a pretty big role for them right now. So if they can improve in those other areas, I would feel more confident that they might be able to have a deep playoff run.
I think that's well said.
But you live by turnovers and you can die by turnovers. And a recent example of the 2011 Patriots, I think, they had a lot of turnovers, but they were bad defense. And it caught up with them at one point. Yeah. I hope for your sake that it won't catch up with the Cowboys. But it's a thin line to walk.
That 2011 AFC Championship, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was the Lee Evans drop in the end zone for Baltimore, and I think was it Patrick Chung that popped it loose? I could be wrong there.
No, it was not Patrick Chung. It was. I will have to get back to you on that one. Well, but it was some obscure defensive back.
Right, but that's the thing. Like if Lee Evans is in,
Moore.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Lee Evans though is in the end zone with the
Yeah.
ball. You know what I'm saying? So like the margin really is that thin. And I'm not trying to poke holes in the Cowboys myself, but they lost to the Buccaneers, but one of their turnovers this season, DeMonte KZ forced a Chris Godwin fumble at the goal line in week 1. That otherwise, if Chris Godwin doesn't fumble, Tampa scores. That game doesn't look as close as it does right now. DeMonte KZ also picked off Justin Herbert, very uncharacteristic throw from Herbert in the end zone against the Chargers. And if that doesn't happen, if the Chargers score, that's a game the Cowboys won by 3. I mean, you can play hindsight a lot of different ways, but you're right. The Cowboys have been very opportunistic with their turnovers and their takeaways, and that's part of the game. But if that flips one way or regresses to the mean in some way, it does adjust who you are. You mentioned the Damian Harris fumble. If that doesn't happen, the story is very different on the Patriots in our current moment.
Yeah, but all those things said, I do think the Cowboys are a good team, and they are far and away the best team in the NFC East, because the rest of the division is abysmal.
Say they're trash. Say it, Bernd. They're trash.
Yeah, they're trash. Yeah.
Nice.
You can't say that. I mean, they're trash for more than they're very different, distinct levels of trash. And I think when it comes to a certain team in a certain capital, there's more trash there. But I don't want to go.
They're a very trashy sort of trash. That's a different trash.
But when we strictly talk about football and strictly talk about on field and the talent, the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC East. They will make the playoffs based off of that. And they can go very far if they improve in some areas that are not as good yet as they are. But I can see them go very far. I can actually see that, because Dak Prescott is a very good player. They have a lot of offensive firepower. They are pretty good. Kellen Moore is an incredibly good play caller. You can't understate that. And I'm saying that with watching Josh McDaniels every week, who is also a good play caller. So I can appreciate good offense. But yeah.
My great friend, Bernd Buckmaster, who took 3 years to tell me how to properly pronounce his last name, but I'll overlook that.
I am a man of mystery.
You are. Bernd is the main man, the head honcho, the boss at Pat's Pulpit, SB Nation's home for New England Patriots content. Bernd, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I wish you health, wealth, happiness in life. I hope you have a little bit of a somber Sunday from a sports perspective, but other than that, I hope everything comes up great for you, man.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. I hope you're well. I hope all the happiness in the world comes your way. Maybe not on Sunday, or if it does on Sunday, maybe not in a potential future Super Bowl between the Patriots or the Cowboys. The scales have to level out at one point.
For sure.
Anyway, thanks so much for having me on. I wish we could do this more often, but since those two teams are not playing regularly, we will have to live in internet obscurity behind our Slack room chats and stuff like that.
We got a lot of
nice to see you, though.
We got a lot of avenues for communication. Bernd,
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much to Bernd Buckmaster for taking the time to join us. One of my favorite people to talk to about anything, but obviously about football, certainly about the Patriots. Lots of great information there, I think, to kind of get the perspective of how Patriots fans are feeling, Patriots people who cover the team. It is a different era for them, and so that makes this still an interesting game, still a tough game for the Cowboys, but one that it is fair to feel optimistic about. But there will not be necessarily an easy road to victory for the Cowboys. There will be a lot of difficult things that are thrown their way by Coach Belichick, by Josh McDaniels. I'm already getting ahead of myself here. You got to, one day at a time, 1 second at a time in the preview video, RJ. For now, let's dive into the film room as Matt Minnick lets us know exactly what we need to pay attention to when it comes to the New England Patriots on Sunday.
This is a very different Patriots team than we are used to seeing, and it's not just about the lack of Tom Brady. Despite the win last week, it was not a great performance. So to get a better idea of what this team is capable of, we're going to go back to their matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the previous week. Of course, the biggest change is obviously under center, where Mac Jones has taken the reins. What stands out most about him is his pocket presence. Many rookie quarterbacks take off at the first sign of pressure, but not Jones. Here, he simply steps to the side, keeping his eyes downfield and finding his receiver for a 16-yard gain. This is really impressive for a rookie quarterback who hasn't seen the type of pressure they bring in the NFL. This type of poise and discipline will need to be matched by the Cowboys defense this weekend. Cornerback J.C. Jackson had an impressive outing against a talented Bucs wide receivers corps. Here, he is all over Mike Evans' route and the ball falls incomplete. The Patriots will likely put Jackson on Amari Cooper, which will be a tough matchup, but the void left by Stephon Gilmore has been filled by a familiar face in former Eagle Jalen Mills. That's where the Cowboys want to go with the ball. That's a matchup I like. Signing Matthew Judon away from Baltimore was the Patriots' biggest free agent move this offseason. Like Micah Parsons, Judon can stop the run and plays well in coverage, but where he really shines is as a pass rusher. In this clip, the Bucs run a play-action pass and pull a guard around to block him. Judon dips and rips past the block for the sack. Judon is an excellent player who will make things tough for the Cowboys offense. Running to his side of the ball will be difficult, and he has the speed to chase down Dak Prescott when he scrambles. This is not the Patriots we are used to seeing, but they do have some young talent that must be accounted for. They competed well against a very good Bucs team, and I would expect them to be ready to go this week against the Cowboys. Dallas is the better team, but they can't afford a letdown. They can't afford to give the Patriots team confidence. They must come out of the gate scoring to set the tone right away from kickoff.
Big thanks to Matt Minnick for the knowledge and the information. Definitely, look, this is a game the Cowboys should win. I don't think anybody's going to try and tell you anything other than that. Everybody I've talked to this week, Patriots friends, so on and so forth, they all feel that way. But it is the Patriots. It is Bill Belichick. And so there is a necessary level of caution that we all have to go into it with. Because Sunday is going to be interesting, but Sunday is going to be a lot of fun. This is an afternoon game, so you do get the noon window to watch some stuff on the Red Zone channel. This game, like I said, afternoon window, but it is Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson on the call. This game is on CBS. You can also listen to it on 105.3 The Fan, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Get Brad Sham, Christy Scales, and Babe Laufenberg on the call there. Cowboys, as you know, 4-1, looking to get to 5-1 before the bye. The New England Patriots below 500 and 2-3. This is, it's uncharted territory for them. And I know I mentioned it to Bernd, but it does feel a little bit unnatural. I know you're probably not upset about the Patriots not doing well as a Cowboys fan, but, it just feels different. I mean, look, if the Cowboys win, we're going to act like it was the most impressive win of all time when we're here on the postgame show. But, if they don't, whatever. But they're going to win. We all know the Cowboys are going to win. In fact, I've been saying it. I've been hinting at it that the Cowboys are going to win. What is my official prediction, you ask? Well, I have the Dallas Cowboys winning by a final score of 37-20. The opening line from our friends at DraftKings, the DraftKings Sportsbook app, is available to you. You can use code SBNNFL for some fun stuff. We do that over on the SB Nation NFL show. That's SBNNFL. 3.5. I mean, 4, whatever you can get. I think that's fair. The Dallas Cowboys, for what it's worth, are the only team in the NFL that is undefeated against the spread so far this season. I don't see how the Patriots are a team that is able to put a stop to that. The weather might be a slight little issue. It is Foxborough. It is the Patriots. My score prediction here is 37-20. Trying to mix it up. I keep going low 30s, kind of high teens. Cowboys keep putting a lot of points on the board. I don't know that there's a 40 burger in store here today, or on Sunday, I should say, but it does feel like a game the Cowboys are going to win rather handily. They're going to get to 5-1, and we're going to have a good time throughout the bye week. But we're going to be here, of course, throughout the bye week because we don't go anywhere. Our job here at Blogging the Boys is to talk about the Dallas Cowboys all the time and to make sure that you have the best Dallas Cowboys content possible. It's a job that we take very seriously. So if you want to support us, please subscribe right here to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. That helps out a lot, especially if you want to turn on those alerts. If you are a podcast listener, the Blogging the Boys podcast network is available for you. We have multiple shows really on a daily basis. We have a daily morning show that gets you caught up with all the latest news, notes, things you need to know when it comes to the Cowboys called Cowboys Roundup. We also have a show that comes out every single day, sometimes 2 a day, that are meatier, longer in length to discuss and analyze things that are happening within the team. You can hear me on there a lot throughout the week as well, obviously. And you can subscribe on Apple devices, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. If you can, leave a rating, write a review. Those things help us out more than you know. My name is RJ Ochoa. You know me from Blog on the Boys, all throughout the Blog on the Boys universe. And this was our preview show for the Dallas Cowboys New England Patriots game on Sunday. Next time you see me will be in our live post-game show. You can watch those, of course, here on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel, on the Blog on the Boys Facebook page. We do podcast those for you as well. And we'll be celebrating the Dallas Cowboys getting to 5-1 on the season. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.